Hey guys, it's Elisa, and thank you so much for tuning back into another video. My hair is not greasy or oily or dirty. It has two different masks in it. It has like an argan mask and like a keratin mask, and you're supposed to leave it in for like an hour. So I'm going on about 2 hours right now, so that's why it looks really weird, but it's just like soaking. It's actually rock hard. I should probably take a shower, but I'll do that after this. So I'm going to be doing a request that I received via email. I am going out of town tomorrow for a few days, and I'm like in the middle of a bunch of stuff right now, but I wanted to go ahead and knock this out before I go out of town. So I'm going to read the request, but I am going to leave out some of the details just to help preserve anonymity. I can't say that word. Alright, so it's via email, and it says, "Hi Elisa, I have found your videos on relationships helpful and insightful. I want your thoughts on my situation. I left my long-term girlfriend to who I was engaged to. We had a great relationship, but there were some problems with communication and with intimacy. I felt somewhat lonely. I couldn't share many of my interests with her, and communicatively, I felt like we were stuck on a narrow level. The sex life wasn't working because of things that she was going through, and it didn't help. And it didn't improve. Like I said, I'm trying to kind of reword things just to make it more vague, but also without missing the point. So it didn't improve, even though we discussed it. I encouraged her to take some time to kind of figure herself out. And I'm not blaming her because it takes two people. It certainly does. You're right about that. The problems were discussed during the relationship, but it wasn't until I met somebody else that I really began to think that these problems hadn't been solved in any way during all these years, and that maybe I should just leave. So I did leave, and it was and still is the most painful thing I've experienced in all of my relationships. After a while, I started seeing this other woman with who it clicked very well. And it actually worked out. We can communicate, we have good chemistry, humor-wise, we are on the same wavelength, and sexually we are too. All in all, there's nothing wrong with my new relationship except for the fact that I still think about my ex. I miss her, and I can hear her voice. I miss how she seemed to sincerely and kindly love me. It's not fair for my new girlfriend. And I know that if it wasn't for these feelings towards my ex-girlfriend, I wouldn't hesitate for a second with a new woman. Honestly, I don't know what's wrong. Am I still in love with my ex, or is it the nostalgia? Did I get into a relationship too early? Or should I apologize to my ex, which I have done? Try to reconcile, maybe fix things, because maybe it was my fault that there wasn't enough effort being put into the relationship. I am at a loss here. All I know for sure is that I am caught up in a web of guilt, regret, love, egoism, nostalgia, and God knows what else. Thank you for your videos. You seem like a wise and kind person, and I wish you all the best." Awesome. So thank you so much for that request. Thank you for confiding in me. I hope I did a good job kind of blurring out those details, but I do need to kind of reread a few parts because there were some important parts that I feel like I didn't understand. Okay, so basically I'm going to kind of recap. So you were dating this girl, for a long time, you were engaged, which is a pretty big deal, and that's not something that everybody just casually gets to, so that's awesome that you did that. But there were problems. You tried fixing it, you tried talking it out with her, but y'all were having issues both with communication, both sexually. She was having mental blocks, which is so common for girls. And then you met someone else. And I'm sorry I'm taking so long. I'm just really trying to digest this information. And this new relationship you're very happy in. You have really good chemistry, you communicate well. Um, okay, so I am actually like split on the fence with this one. Like a part of me is like, it's on the thing. I'm recording a video though.
I'm sorry, it's not out here.
Oh, it's in the bathroom on the counter.
Okay.
Okay, sorry about that. I am too stubborn to stop and start over. But I'm actually kind of torn because this is something that I was also kind of a part of at one point where, I had a relationship, I got out, and then I started dating new people, and I was happy with the new people, but I also really missed my old person. That is such a normal feeling, first of all, and I want to reassure you that you are not crazy for feeling this way. You're not betraying your new girlfriend for feeling this way. You're not doing anything wrong. I think you did what was best. You left a relationship because it wasn't working anymore, and you felt like it would be best for both of y'all if you were to remove yourself from that situation. Look at this. And kind of start fresh, which you did. I don't know how long it was till you began dating this new person, but that's okay. So like I said, I'm split on the fence, and I'm gonna kind of explain each reason why. So, one side of me is like, maybe you did just kind of abandon your ex, in the midst of all these problems. And if you still are feeling this way, then it's because maybe your journey isn't over. Okay, that's side A. Side B is that you were engaged to her. You were with her for a long time. And you had these problems that just were starting to tear y'all apart. So you did what was best. You removed yourself and you began to date and you found someone, and now you're very happy with them. The only reason why you're feeling nostalgic is because when we date people, especially when we get engaged to people, when we build these connections with people, they become habits. I say this a lot in my videos that they actually do become habits. Like the same reason we know how to take a shower and remember that first you do shampoo and then you shave and then you do conditioner and then you do body, like the routines, everything that we know how to do, how to make cereal, how to start a car, how to reset your Amazon Fire Stick when it's not working, because Lord knows that happens all the time. Everything you do is a habit. When you date somebody for a long time, they become a habit. You are used to their smile, their voice, you're used to their quirkiness, their jokes, their reassurance, their family, their dog, the way they snore, or maybe the way they sleep like an angel. Those become habits. And when you stop doing something, it's really weird. I don't know if you ever tried pouring the milk in first and then the cereal, but it's weird. And that's kind of what you're experiencing. You're switching up things. You not only became single, but you put yourself in a new relationship, which is just as different as not being with her. It's just as different as being single. Because you're still dating, but you're dating someone totally new. And that's going to come with a whole new box of memories, of hobbies, of inside jokes, of arguments, of pet peeves. Like, it's a whole new person. You can't click and drag traits and qualities and hobbies and things over from one relationship to your new one. They are two separate things. I'm more on the side that you did the right thing, but you're just being nostalgic. I think you're definitely right about that because it's a habit, and habits take a very long time to break. After every ex-boyfriend that I've had, it definitely, you don't just kick the bucket with all the habits. Like, it takes a while to make that adjustment. And I remember my first boyfriend, I was with him for a while, and we had, like, these inside jokes and everything. And my second boyfriend, I kind of tried bringing that into the relationship, but it just felt weird. It felt like, I don't even know how to explain it. It just felt out of place. I'm trying to think of a metaphor for that, but I just can't. It's like you're playing in a soccer game, but you're wearing ice skates. You're wearing the wrong thing to the wrong event. You're wearing your ex's like mannerisms, your ex's jokes to your new relationship. It just doesn't fit right. And sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. It's a bad thing because it can trick us into thinking that we're not over them. And I think that whole, am I over them or am I not? That's a mindset. You can be over them if you want. I know that's a very controversial thing, and it's not as black and white as I'm making it sound, but if you want to be over somebody, you can be. You know, you can be completely and utterly in love with someone who you think is your soulmate, but you have multiple soulmates throughout your life. And even if you think you're never going to get over a person, maybe you won't. Maybe you'll still always have feelings for them, or a feeling. It doesn't need to be romantic, but it'll still be a feeling. Maybe you don't have that anymore, but you can move on. Moving on is an effort, just like falling in love is an effort. Just like being in love is an effort. Having a relationship is an effort. It's a choice that you're making, just like moving on is. To fall in love and to stay in love are two different things, and to begin moving on and to stay moved on is the same thing. It requires effort, it requires a wake-up call, and then consciously doing what you can to move on. Just because you are not moved on doesn't mean they're the person for you. Because if that was the choice, we would all, every single person on this earth would still be with the same person that they first fell in love with for the first time, and half of us wouldn't even exist. Because that's, like, everybody has exes, you know? And if you don't, then good for you, but most of the time, everybody has an ex. So, I think that it's totally good that you thought that this relationship wasn't working anymore and you pulled yourself out and began dating someone new. I think that's awesome. Because if you were having issues in your old relationship and they weren't getting fixed, then you owe it to yourself to give yourself something new. You know what I mean? But then the other side of me, side A, is also, well, if you were engaged to her and you kind of promised to be with her for the rest of your life, then you made that commitment that you were never going to leave her side, you know? And you did leave her side when things got rough, you know, when the sex got bad, when the miscommunication started happening. The reason why I have these two sides is because I don't know enough about the situation. I don't know her side. I don't know enough to kind of tell you what to do. I can just give you my reasoning for both sides and kind of let you see, like, my thought process here. But, you know, if you got engaged to her, but then you kind of gave up, I know you didn't purposely give up or you didn't want to. I know it was definitely the most difficult thing you've had to do. But it's better that you did it now than married with kids, you know? And I'm sure that's what you've been kind of telling yourself to help justify it, which is good. You know, if you feel like there are issues in a relationship that aren't being fixed, as long as you have done your part to communicate them and to make them clear that, hey, this needs to change, otherwise, like, I can't do this. Like, I love you, but I love me more, and I deserve this. And if this is too much for you, then I can't do this. As long as you made it very clear, and then the relationship still fell through the cracks, then I don't think you should feel guilty. Yes, it sucks. It's a terrible situation, but at the end of the day, if this is what's right, then both of y'all are going to move on, and she's going to find someone new, and so are you. But that's a choice. I don't really believe in fate as much as I do in that our choices very much heavily rely our fate. You know what I mean? Like, when I say I don't believe in fate, I don't mean, like, I think when we die on our deathbed, the way that we lived our life was the way we were supposed to do it, yes, but that shouldn't stop you from making these big decisions. Fate shouldn't stop you from staying with someone if you're unhappy, because maybe fate wants you to leave them and then date someone new, fall in love with someone new, and then be able to tell those stories to your kids. Like, hey, I almost didn't even have you because I was in love with someone else. I was engaged to someone else. But then I left the relationship, and that's the story that you're going to tell on your deathbed. That's going to be your fate. Fate is something that you create. It's something that you dictate every day with your choices. When you wake up and you decide to wear a red shirt instead of a blue shirt, and you're on your deathbed and you say, hey, Wednesday, July 1st, I wore a blue shirt because I chose that. And that was what was supposed to happen. Same thing with this. I'm getting really philosophical. I'm sorry. I think this hair mask is seeping into my brain or something. But, like I said, I'm on the fence. Maybe you are still in love with her, but there was a long time where I was still in love with somebody that I couldn't have anymore, but I didn't have the choice to go back. I had to move forward. I had to explore the whole new world that I was just submerged in, and it ended up working out amazingly. Okay? For a long time, I felt like I was not doing the right thing. I felt like I was still supposed to be with this person. I felt like I was still supposed to be pursuing this person. And I felt like every other person was just a rebound, a distraction. And soon enough, you stop feeling that way. It might take a while, but soon you stop feeling like you made a mistake. And you start realizing that you're doing the right thing. And that's when I met my now boyfriend, who we've been together for 2 years. And I couldn't be happier. He's right up there. That's also Disney World. So everything really does happen the way it's supposed to happen. It's up to you what you want to do. I think, if you still have these very strong feelings, it doesn't mean that you're meant to be together. It doesn't mean that you're meant to be together. It just means that you're still stuck in this habit. But like I said, this side of me also is like, well, maybe you still think about her because you should give it another shot. That could be true too. Who knows? Maybe your fate does entail you going back to her. But then if that's the case, you need to stop what you're doing with this new girlfriend, because it's not fair to her that she's dating someone who still has his mind on somebody else. That's not fair to her. I've been in that situation. I've been that girl. It's not fun. Because every day you wake up and you wonder why the heck you're not good enough. Why you're not the woman in the forefront of his mind. It's something that you ultimately need to decide, and nobody's going to make that decision for you. You need to come to terms with these feelings. Do I still love her, and do I want her back? And am I making the wrong mistake by being with this girl? Or can I admit that I'm only still thinking about my ex because she's a habit, she is a routine, but I'm ready to break that routine and live my new life with my new girlfriend, because that's what I signed up to do. You can't just dip when things get hard or inconvenient. When things get difficult, you can't just say, I'm out, go to a new relationship, but then you're still thinking about the old relationship, and so then you go, I'm out, and then you go back to that relationship, and hypothetically you go back to this one, and then this one falls apart, and then what? You go back to no, that girl will be gone. That girl will be, I hope she'll be gone. If she's a strong woman, she will be. But it's really, I can't tell you what to do. I think it's really smart that you are trying to explore new options in terms of partners, but maybe you did jump the gun. And if that's the case, then it's not healthy for you to be in a new relationship when you're still so fresh. Sometimes there is a block-off period in your life, in your mental healing progression, where you can't date someone new. Like, physically, yes, you can date new people, but mentally you won't be there. You'll be gone. You'll be in your last relationship still, and every single person that you're going to date is going to be taken advantage of because you're not there. You're just there for the confirmation that you're a good person, that you're worth it, that you're worth love, that you are attractive, that you're a good sexual partner. Like, you get all these affirmations from them, but like, that's not fair to them to be giving you that, because that's not the point of a partner. The point of a partner is to live together because that's your choice, and because you're happy together, and because there's nobody else that you want to be with. Okay? Maybe you need to see if you're still in that block-out state where it's too soon. And if it is, then maybe it's best to not date any of them. Maybe it's best to back out, heal, do hobbies that you love, that you're happy doing, whether it's sports, working out, art, music, hot dog eating contests, whether it's something that you love. Maybe you just need to do that and then readdress the situation. This new girl, it's great that y'all are working out, but if you're not a bad person, if you're not like controversial or like opinionated or like a criminal or anything that is a very overpowering quality, then you can make it work with a lot of people for a short amount of time. Everyone is, for the most part, compatible until real life gets in the way. I'm watching Married at First Sight. I'm binge watching it right now. And you notice that they all get along in the beginning. Except for Luke and Kate. That was just like a crazy season. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with that guy. But then as soon as real life hits, they kind of start to fall apart, or they grow closer together. It just depends. you can make it work with anybody. So if you're afraid of losing the new girl, don't be, because she could be your soulmate, but like I said, you have multiple soulmates throughout your life, so it doesn't really, I don't feel like you're losing much by withdrawing if that's what you need to do. Maybe you're not meant to end up with either of them. Maybe you just need to be with yourself until you are ready for a new relationship. Because if you still have these very strong feelings and they're getting in the way of things, and they cloud your mind at night and in the morning, and at the most random times, then maybe that is a sign that you're doing something wrong. That doesn't mean that you're meant to be with her, with the old girl. Maybe it does mean that, but I can't tell you if it means that. It just means that you're not supposed to be feeling this way in a new relationship. New relationships are all about the honeymoon phase. They're all about getting to know each other. They're all about being happy. And sometimes, yes, you can do that while moving on from an ex, but if you feel like you're not moving on, then that's an issue, and that's something that you need to address with yourself. In this video, I can't tell you what to do. I can't tell you what direction to take, but I can help you organize your thoughts and kind of provide that clarity so you can help address what you're feeling and help address the next steps. And I'd be more than happy to help you if you need more help. But I want to stop making these decisions for people because I'm not licensed. I'm not a professional. I'm just a girl on the internet. So that's going to be all my advice for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that this becomes clear for you. Don't forget to maybe connect with your spiritual side if you have one, or do what you can to kind of escape. Take a trip with your friends, take a trip with your family, just get away, do something, and really look for that sign, because signs will tell you, whether it's to drop everything and fight for your ex, whether it's to commit to this new relationship and try to make it work, or if it's to just back out and focus on yourself. So that's it. If anybody wants to help me buy a new hubcap, by the way, my hubcap fell off and I need a new one. So my Venmo is amariehoneyy with 2 Y's. My Cashapp is amariehoneyy with 1 Y. That'll be in the description below. I've also been painting a bunch of paintings lately, and I've been posting tutorials, so go check that out. Thank you for watching, and I'm always here to listen to your issues. Alright, that's all I gotta say. Alright, bye guys.